Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Shannon and this is Glam by Shan. Today I have a very exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking video for you. I'm going to be testing out the Juno & Co. Microfiber sponge today. I picked this up at my local Target. I saw it and I was like, whoa, I've never seen this in the store before. So I wanted to pick it up and test it out for you. So this is the sponge in the package. I got the pink shade. It is the Rosé Velvet Sponge. I have not opened this yet, but I'm very excited to feel it. Ooh, this feels very interesting. It almost feels like a brush. It's very strange. It is nice and squishy, so I like the feel of it so far. Let's go ahead and go wet it and see how big it gets. So this is the size of it starting completely dry. I pulled out the little user guide that comes in with the sponge, so I am going to read a little bit about it for you. I like in here it says there's no rules. Use the Juno sponge for different makeup products and application methods. It says you can use the sponge wet or dry to apply liquid foundations, concealers, contour, blush, highlighters, loose powder, and powder foundations. Very cool. It says to wet the sponge completely, continue squeezing the sponge into water for a minimum of 15 seconds. When the sponge expands and is soft and squishy, it's ready to use. I'm going to take you into the bathroom with me and we are going to wet the sponge and see how big it gets. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and wet the sponge. I'm gonna start with cold water first, add hot water, and wait until it gets about lukewarm. All right, here we go. And this is the completely wet sponge. It definitely got bigger. This is the sponge completely wet, yet somehow it feels dry. Very, very odd. So we are going to test this out together. The foundation I'm gonna use today is the Thrive Causemetics Buildable Blur CC Cream. I have two shades. I'm gonna mix them together to get my perfect color. First, I'm going to start with my eyes, and then I will meet you back here after we are primed and ready to go. All right, so these are the eyes all completed. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face with my Makeup Revolution Glass Liquid Skin Illuminating Primer, and I'll see you in just a second to apply the foundation. All right, so I just have a pump of each of the shades of the Thrive CC Cream on my hand. I'm going to apply it as I normally would to my face. Okay, and then I'm going to take the side of the sponge here, this side, the flat, not flat, this is flat, the rounded side of the sponge, and I'm gonna blend it in. It feels very strange on the face. It feels like I'm just wiping a towel to blend in my foundation. It definitely does not soak up a lot of product like my other sponge does. The sponge that I typically use is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer Sponge. That is my favorite sponge at the moment. And I'm definitely using more of a stippling motion to apply this rather than a pouncing motion. Because with a typical sponge, I would just blend like so. I'm gonna put a little bit more here, and then that'll do it for the foundation. So that is the foundation all blended with the Juno & Co. sponge. I think it looks pretty normal. It does look like I blended it with a brush, which isn't my favorite application method, but I do like the way it's sitting on my forehead, which is pretty beautiful. So I'm going to blend out my concealer with this sponge also, and we'll see how it does. Alright, so I went ahead and blended my concealer with the sponge, and I applied my Thrive Cosmetics setting powder under my eyes and in the center of my face. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my face, and I will meet you here in just a second. Alright, so this is the completed look today using the Juno & Co. Microfiber Velvet Sponge. I very much enjoy how my face turned out. I think it kind of looks like how it would if I had blended it out with a brush rather than a sponge, but I typically am not a brush girl, but this looks pretty good to me. I would say overall, this is a cool product. I'm definitely going to use it and continue testing it out with different foundations, but first impression is very positive. If you guys like me, you like this first impression, you like anything about today's video, please give me a like down below. Also be sure to subscribe and hit the post notification bell to be notified every single time I upload. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye! Okay, we're testing out this camera setup for the Juno & Co. sponge video. I'm gonna see. Ooh, it's so bright. What if I do this? I pull the shade down. That still looks so nice. That's a little aggressive. That's both. Turn it down a little. I'm gonna open this up a little. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's try this. Not currently.
Press it out your fingers.
The foundation I'm going to use today, try that again. The foundations at